Good evening and welcome to our March 7th, 2023 Town Council meeting. I believe we have some non-public issues to clear up here.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to come out of non-public.
Second.
So we have a motion to leave non-public by Councilor Weatherby, seconded by Councilor Katz-Korse. Any discussion on that motion? Councilor Cherichello? Yes. Councilor Spencer?
Yes.
Councilor Katz-Korse?
Yes.
Councilor Flood?
Yes.
Councilor Weatherby?
Yes.
Councilor Foote?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. We are out, or non-public?
I will
We're out of
move,
non-public.
and I will move to seal the minutes indefinitely.
Second.
Motion is sealed by Councilor Weatherby, seconded by Councilor Spencer. Any discussion? Councilor Cherichello?
Yes.
Councilor Spencer?
Yes.
Councilor Katz-Korse? Councilor Katz-Korse?
Yes.
Councilor Flood?
Yes.
Councilor Weatherby?
Yes.
Councilor Foote?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Those minutes are sealed. We'll call this meeting to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, just a heads up on, in case of an emergency, we please make note of the exits to the rear and to my right. If there is an emergency, please use the stairs and not the elevator. And we will take a roll call. Councilor Cherichello?
Good evening.
Councilor Spencer?
Good evening.
Councilor Katz-Korse?
Good evening.
Councilor Flood?
Good evening.
Councilor Weatherby?
Good evening.
Councilor Foote?
Good evening.
And the chair welcomes you all to our meeting. Entertain a motion to open public forum.
So moved, Mr. Chair. Second.
Motion by Councilor Korse, Councilor Katz-Korse, seconded by Councilor Weatherby. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. The meeting is yours. Just a reminder, please use your name and give your address. Hey, Tom.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to thank Councilor Weatherby and Councilor Borden for your service that you've provided for the town and all the work that you've done, and let you know that it's very much appreciated, and thank you. And also, Josh, there's an opening on Net Zero in case you're interested.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Tom.
You're welcome, Neil. Yeah.
Sure.
Move to close.
No, I want to see him top that. More praise, please.
Well, I guess it'd be for the next council. Can we have a clock for, like,
Will you be
when
nice?
somebody
This
leaves
is your
their
last
seat,
night.
like, they got
Now
30
be
seconds to
nice.
get up here?
Good evening, Mr. Chair.
I believe that's ableism against the people. You know that? You need to not be so discriminatory. You need to be more inclusive. You know, anyhow. My name is Richard Tripp, 44 Wyndham Road. And first thing I have to say is, Phyllis, Lori told me to speak into the microphone tonight. Lori told me that you're supposed to speak into the microphone.
Behave. Was the knock turned on?
Oh, it wasn't turned on? Oh, all right.
Thank you.
So anyhow, I knew that it was Josh and Neil's last meeting, so I was showing Tom some pictures that I took at a recent school board meeting. There was 3 police cars outside of it. And I says, well, geez, that reminds me of my first year on the council. I says, seems that the Josh, Phyllis, and I were fighting a gang of 4. We had fun, didn't we?
Be good now.
Be good, yeah. But then Neil and Brian came to save us, you know. So that was an interesting year. You know, people still talk to me about that. So anyhow, thank you for your service. 9 years. Wow.
Yep.
Well,
Wow.
when that baby gets a little bigger, you could just come back and do another 9, maybe 18. Which then that'd almost be as much as Phyllis has in the house. No.
She's got a few years up here, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know how many years. How many years have I been here?
But
Too many.
it's sad to see you go, but every now and then you just got to take a break, right? So we'll see you next time we see you. And thanks for the good work.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Richard.
Uh-oh. Here he comes. Do you have lipstick on?
Good evening. Just name and address for the record.
Anthony Henry, 5B Maurice Road. Just wanted to echo the previous speakers and thank Councilor Borden and Councilor Weatherby for your service to the town.
Oh,
Thank you, Anthony.
thank you. He's so cute.
Seeing none, rise online, Mr. Chair.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to close by Councilor Cherichello,
Second.
second by Councilor Foot. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Public forum is closed. Next up, we have the consent agenda. I'll split a couple of, the first item, 23-19. And so we'll vote on 23-19, the approval of non-public minutes. That was February 21st, 2023. Those minutes were sealed. And 23-20, the approval minutes, to approve the minutes of the February 21st, 2023. So we'll start with just those.
Second.
So we have a motion to accept those and a second by Councilor Spencer. Any discussion? On the motion, Councilor Cherichello?
Yes.
Councilor Spencer?
Yes.
Councilor Katsoukaris?
Yes.
Councilor Flood?
Yes.
Councilor Weatherby?
Yes.
Councilor Foot?
I'll abstain.
And I'll vote yes. That's a 6-0-1 vote. Lastly, we have agenda items 23-21, resolution 2023-018 to apply for, accept, and expend Homeland Security Grant for active threat response. And a public hearing will be set for this on March 21st, 2023. We also have agenda item 23-22, resolution 2023-021, to authorize the purchase of 6.5 Meadowbrook Road. And we're seeking, there's authorization to purchase 6.5 Meadowbrook Road in support of a sale of 23 Adams Pond Road. Per state statute, there needs to be 2 public hearings, and these are scheduled for March 21st, 2023, as well as April 4th, 2023.
Motion to approve 2321 and 2322.
So we have a motion to approve those 2 items by Councilor Spencer, seconded by Councilor Foot. Any discussion? On the motion, Councilor Cherichello?
Yes.
Councilor Spencer?
Yes.
Councilor Katsoukaris?
Yes.
Councilor Flood?
Yes.
Councilor Weatherby?
Yes.
And Councilor Foot?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Those pass 6-0. Next, I'd like to, under the chairman's report, call up Tina Guilford to discuss the town candidate forum.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. You said 6-0. I think it should have been, was there anyone that abstained?
7-0.
Oh, it should be 7-0 for the record. Thank you.
Your last meeting.
I know. Hi.
Hello. Good evening. As I'm sure you're all aware at this point, the candidate forums had to be canceled because the Derry School District closed their buildings. So they have been rescheduled. The school candidate forum will be tomorrow night at 6:30, and the town candidate forum will be Thursday night at 6:30, both at West Running Brook. There is no snow in the forecast. There's no weather in the forecast, so that's great. There is, however, a little snow in the forecast for Election Day, and they're saying 1 to 3 inches, which that shouldn't be a problem because, we don't cancel elections. Anyway, Also, just as a quick update, tomorrow here in this room at 10 a.m., we will be testing our AccuVote machines for anyone that wants to attend. It is open to the public. Absentee ballots are available. You can get your absentee ballot up till 5 p.m. the day before the election on Monday, March 13th. And Election Day is March 14th from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Calvary. All districts vote at Calvary.
Of course. Sir.
Go ahead. You have a question?
Yeah, I had a question. Did we check into Pinkerton? Because all I can visualize is the traffic. That was, it was horrendous, the traffic.
We're probably going to have
Fire.
less than 3,000 voters versus the 12,000 we had in November. So traffic will not be an issue.
You don't think it will be?
No,
Okay.
in September, we had 6,000 voters at Calvary, and we had no traffic.
Okay. You're the boss for now.
Okay.
So, Mr. Chairman, just for clarification, because it was me that asked probably, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago for a committee, and I think it's myself, Councilor Aaron, and Charlie.
Yep.
Spencer, I'm sorry. I just remembered his last name. This is what happens when you get old. So I envisioned that, I didn't want to confuse anybody, so we figured that after the town election, we could begin to talk about, the future elections. And correct me if I'm wrong, Tina, I think Pinkerton's going to allow us to do the general election next year, but the key question will be the primary, because we don't know, that's a moving target.
That's a moving target, and is a possibility that the regular state primary may also be a moving target.
Yeah.
So we really don't have a lot of election dates. We can, if you want to have a workshop to discuss what multiple polling places look like and the cost of those, we can do that.
Yeah, I think that will be good after this March election. We can, the people on that subcommittee, yourself, and maybe we can get the superintendent of schools in on that committee, just to see the availability, if we can use the schools. I mean, we'll just look at all the options we have. Because as we stated last time, even though people came to Calvary, and as soon as they got there, I mean, we all witnessed it. They were in and out. It was perfect. It worked really well. The problem is there's only one road leading to Calvary.
Yes.
Some people just got frustrated and left, and obviously, we did the best job we could, but some people thought it was voter suppression, or claimed to be, and we were in the newspaper for it. So I think a discussion and a workshop to see what we want to do in the future will work.
We can do that. I know the month of April is already pretty packed, so maybe in May.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Good. Any other comments or questions for Tina? Good. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if I may, while Tina makes her way back, I'd like to remind our audience that we will be airing the forums both nights live on both 1723 and live streaming on folks' device. To find that, just simply go to DerryCAM.org. We'll make sure right there front and center you'll be able to click and watch live.
Got it. Awesome. Well, I'll just say a couple of things. I currently, for the past 3 years or year and a half, I've had the privilege of teaching political science and practical law and American studies at Windham High School. And one of the things I'm teaching my students right now is about federalism. And that's, we define it as the blending and sharing of power between our federal government, state, and local government. And as this election comes up, I would implore each and every citizen, I hope we have traffic problems, and I hope we make
What?
Tina eat those words, because that would be a good thing, a healthy thing, because it's the local elections that impact your wallet the most. I get it's fun to watch the debates of the presidential politics, and it's fun to watch them sometimes savagely tear each other apart, but it's the local elections that are going to impact your wallet. So get involved. It's not too late. Show up, vote, and be in charge of the direction of this town's future. And the last thing I want to say before I turn it over, I'll let other people speak if they want to. I just wanted to, in my final meeting, say thank you to you all. and everyone who I served with over the past 9 years. It's not an easy position. It's a thankless position, and I've really enjoyed my time with each and every one of you. You've made me a better person and a better leader, and I definitely want to thank Dave Karen. I mean, you guys have no idea out there how lucky we are to have you, Dave. I mean, you're like an encyclopedia. You are like the Google of town managers. I mean, honestly, I would, try and ask him a question he doesn't know the answer to. It's hard to do.
True.
And we're so lucky and blessed to have you. And then the directors of each and every department, or the chiefs, the leaders of those departments. I mean, how lucky are we?
Blessed.
Super blessed.
Yeah.
And the town employees that those people lead, I mean, this town is so lucky to have each and every one of you.
Yeah.
And then also, the Net Zero Committee, you hold a special place in my heart. And I'll just say some of my proudest moments: when we stabilized safety in this community, when we stabilized the budget, the investments we made in rec and our children's future. And then lastly, the investments we made in energy conservation and, leading the state when it comes to net zero. So I'm very grateful and thankful that you helped me in each of those endeavors. So that is all. And lastly, thank you, Neil, for your service. I felt like you were one of my closest allies throughout all of this, whether you were serving with me or, at home in the audience. So thank you. Appreciate your friendship. So if anybody else has anything they'd like to say, feel free.
So just a couple of things. First thing is, just to echo Josh's thing, please come out for the town elections. I was just looking through the records of the last 7 or 8 years, and I think we've only gotten over 2,000 voters 2 out of the last 7 or 8 years. And for anybody who thinks their vote doesn't matter, Erin won her race by a handful of votes, 7 votes.
Yep.
Brian won his race by a handful of votes. We've had town council races end in a tie. We've had town council races decided by 1 vote. Your vote matters. And this is where you can have an impact on what goes on in this community. So if you like what's going on, come out and vote. If you don't like what's going on, come out and vote. But please get educated on who is running and what they're about and what they're doing, because it matters.
Good. Anybody else?
Is this the time of doing this, or?
No, it doesn't have to be. But you always try and get last word on my chairman's report, so I figured why not?
That's an old political trick.
I know.
Try to get the last
We're
word.
aware.
So all right, I guess I won't get the last word, but I will say something. So Josh, 9 years. I can remember when you were brand new and very young at that time, and you I just watched at home, and I'm like, he's in the middle of those guys, and that's going to be interesting. And you got through that fine. And then I think you've done a great job in 9 years. You really care about the community, and that kind of shows. So thank you for that. It really is important to get involved, and it's not always easy, but it's not supposed to be easy. We're really steering the ship of 35,000, 36,000 people. And so everybody that's up here and shares in being an elected official is important. So thank you for the sacrifice, because I know you've got a young family, and I get it, because I've been there once before. So we will miss you.
Not having the last.
Neil. So Neil, I'm going to miss Neil a lot, because even though we were from political different backgrounds, I could always call Neil and just get his opinion, because I'm always interested in hearing others' opinion, not just the same people in my party, because sometimes you want to get different voices. And Neil was one of the guys that when I was first approached in 2015 to see what was going on at the council, I had, after my first 3 terms, I had turned off the TV, and I just said, I did my 9 years, I'm good. And then someone said, have you watching the council? No. And so then I started to watch the council. They took me in, they said, you got to help out. And Neil was one of the first people that I called. And I said, I'm going to need some help. So Neil and a few other people hit the ground running on that. And that was, I think, probably one of the most important days in Derry, because people would always talk about whether they're going to cut taxes or they want the services. And everybody didn't know which way the town was going. So that was kind of a defining moment in the town, that vote. It turned out to be a big one. And some people weren't happy, I get it, but you really kind of knew where the town stood, and they wanted the services in this town, and we did that. So that, and there was another time that I called Neil, was when I met Councilor Morgan, talked to him for a while, and I said to myself, I got to get another opinion. And so I said to Neil, you got to come out and have coffee with us and talk. And Neil did. And then I just said, well, what do you think about this guy? He wants to run. And then Neil's like, yeah, I think he's somebody who's interested in the community and run. And then collectively, all of us, over the last 6 years or so, really, we've really accomplished a lot. Like you said, Mr. Chairman, we've done we've bought a lot of conservation land. We've done the recreation piece. We've kept taxes low. And now, we've got the new fire station coming, all under the tax cap, not over the tax cap. So we've done a lot of good things, and I'm going to miss you too. So, but you may get a call. I may get your opinions on some stuff. But thank you very much for serving.
Thank you.
Uh-oh.
Councilor Gatscoris.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you and Neil. You've made it fun to be on the board. You always smiled, you were always happy, and I wanted to thank their wives, because without them, they wouldn't be here. And it's been a pleasure knowing both of you and working with you, and I wish you the very best, and you'll be missed. Please come back sometime.
Well, I don't know how happy our wives would be. This is there a long time.
Right, totally.
But thank you for mentioning them.
Thank you for everything.
She's got to
you
find
guys.
something else to do on Tuesday nights now.
All right. I'll do my obligatory statement. No, thank you, gentlemen, both of you for your service for the last 8 years that I've been here. So we haven't always agreed on things, but we've always come to the middle ground and been on the same page and doing what's best for Derry and collectively. So thank you very much for pushing the envelope and making us all work to our full potential. So good luck in your future endeavors. Good luck. Good luck.
I look forward to you being my District 2 counselor.
Please don't call me.
I appreciate you making the effort to come back for our final meeting, Charlie. It does matter.
Yeah, so just please leave my number.
All right, so I was going to save this for the end, but I'm just going to do it now because it seems like the time to do it. I just want to thank everyone who supported me, voters, and everyone who supported me and allowed me to do this job for 4 terms, 12 years. My wife and daughter, I never could have done this as long as I have without their unconditional support. All the counselors I've served with, a special mention to Rick Metz and Brad Benson, who helped me on in my early days, and Brian as well, and Jim Morgan, who convinced me to come back after I took my 3-year hiatus, and I thought it was a good bunch to come back and work with. I want to thank the town staff for doing most of the heavy lifting and making this job look easy. And that's everyone from the town administrator to the department heads to the guy who's still cleaning this building when we go home at night. It's really a team effort, and I think that's what we have here. I think we have one of the best staffs in the state. And again, a special thank you to Sheila Bodenrader, who, as everyone in this council knows, keeps things in our worlds running very smoothly. I'd like to thank the folks on conservation, where I actually began my involvement with the town when my next door neighbor and then commission chair, Paul Dion, asked me to get involved. I'm not sure if I should thank him for that or not, but it's still a debate between us. And the commission's done a great job over the years, and now longtime chair James Degnan is keeping that going today, which is really awesome. And again, to the involvement side of things, please get involved. I don't really want to get into accomplishments because I really believe what we do up here is a team sport. None of what we accomplish is without having the others having that team mentality. But I will say, when I look at 2008 in Derry, which is when I came to the council, and I look at Derry in 2023, while there's still a lot to be done, I believe we're in a better place in many ways as a community. Hasn't always been easy, hasn't always been fun, but a lot of it has been fun. It's been really rewarding, and I've personally enjoyed being here and doing the job.
Well said.
Good job.
Awesome.
All right,
Thank
you
Neil.
skipped over me, so I'm gonna, I was gonna let you have last word, but then you started going.
Oh, sorry.
I'm waiting for you to jump in.
No, I just want to thank you both. After I was elected, the two of you both reached out, and I still remember, I think the week after, we went for a walk and talked about the council and what I had just gotten myself into, and it was too late to change my mind. But
We tricked you.
You did. Yeah, I got tricked. No, I'm very happy to have been able to work with both of you and have learned a lot over the last couple of years, and we'll miss you a lot, but I still have your cell phone numbers in my phone, so
You do.
don't think you're off the hook that easy.
Yeah, and I'll throw that in. So I still have everybody's number, so don't screw anything up, or I can sit in that seat up there too, so.
Well, speaking in public's not my comfort zone, but thank you, Josh, for dragging me out of my comfort zone, and that's why I'm sitting here probably. And Neil, for the few times you've been here this past year, sitting next to me, thank you for your guidance. Appreciate it. Appreciate everything you guys have done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Flood. Thank you for stepping up. All right, thanks everyone, and we'll turn it over to our town administrator.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you, Josh and Neil, for your service to the community, and if you get bored, the next section is the budget review process. We're going to be here every Tuesday in April. And a couple Thursdays. We'll begin with the budget presentation April 4th, and
My wives are going to miss the most.
Right.
and plan on hopefully adoption of the budget on May 2nd. But we have every Tuesday scheduled for budget meetings and a couple of Thursdays through April, and the budget will be delivered to you by April 1st. Getting on to town finances, as you know, our CFO tracks our finances on a weekly basis, and we're seeing a lot of positive results this year. In fact, we are just three weeks shy of ending the third quarter of the fiscal year, and for example, our ambulance revenues are already at 85% of budget. They should be trending right now about a little bit below 70. Building permits are 80%. Construction material disposal is 68, and that'll tick up as the warm weather occurs. Aluminum recycling is 97%. As we've talked about, our interest revenues are 585%. So our revenue side is looking, for the most part, in a very positive direction. Looking at the state level, a bill has been filed, Senate Bill 270, which would replicate what happened last year, is to use some of the state surplus towards local roads and bridges. And last year, we received in total about $1.1 million. It's a one-time revenue, but does help us accelerate our road program and also help us repair the culverts in the community and bridges. So hopefully that'll gain support at the state level, and we'll see another bump to help maintain our roads. There's also been a recent state law enacted requiring communities, if you give a density bonus for elderly housing, it's got to be applied to to workforce housing as well. So the planning board is aware of that, and will be working with the planning staff to address the matter. At the federal level, it's the time again whereby our representative and our senator request input on congressional directed appropriations. What those are, they don't increase the federal budget. They require the departments to set aside 1% of their federal budget, which can be directed locally to projects we think are very beneficial to us. So we're looking at two this year. We're looking at submitting a request for body cameras. We've had that discussion. We think it's beneficial, but it's about a $500,000 project, and it's really tough to fit within our operating budgets. Hopefully we'll be successful there. And also, you recall the discussions we had where we're helping the communities to the south by wheeling water from Manchester to community south. And you may recall that we're currently in phase 1, which will allow us to wheel about 1 million gallons of water per day, and depending upon the demand south of us. And phase 2 envisioned wheeling about 3 million gallons. So Salem is leading an effort to help pay for some of those infrastructure improvements throughout the corridor, a lot of them in Derry, with a congressionally directed appropriation. So those are due on Friday. We're working with our staff to work up some estimates of the improvement costs here in Derry, and we'll move those along. Moving to the fire station project, as we discussed, I think, last meeting, we actually, in our contract, have cost estimates to be developed at 3 different phases of the project. The first cost estimates were recently completed, and we're currently on budget. On the site work, not unexpectedly, we did encounter some ledge, so they are elevating the building somewhat and setting it a little bit further away from the road to eliminate that significant ledge cost. And the architect is planning to actually issue 2 separate bids on the project. It's been their experience where if they bid the site separately, that'll make the building bid, which is the larger one, a more tight and dependable bid. So what the architect plans to do is right now we're about to apply for a state alteration to terrain permit. That's about a 3 to 4 month process. So our architect thinks we're going to actually bid for the site work sometimes in July. Hopefully the work will happen in August or September, and with the building bid to follow. And so the goal at this point is to have the foundation in and steel erected by the end of 2023. So it's moving right along. The other project, Solar Landfill, Encore, our partner in that development, will be appearing with Mike Fowler at our planning board on March 15th to receive comments under the governmental use of property site plan review process, which involves us presenting plans to the planning board, and the planning board has 30 days to make non-binding recommendations on that development. So that's going to be happening. It's going to be a week from Wednesday. So that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, or Mr. Town Manager. All right. How many ways can I mess this up? Only a few agenda. Under new business, 23-23, resolution 2023-015 to apply for and accept a gift from Injury Prevention Center at the Children's Hospital at Dartmouth Hitchcock. Presenting will be Police Chief George Fioli.
Good evening, Council.
Chief.
Is this on?
I believe so.
Green light's on. I guess it's on. I'm here this evening to seek authority to apply for and accept a grant of safety helmets. Typically, each year at the Touch a Truck event that we hold, and by the way, that's June 3rd, tentatively scheduled this year at West Running Brook. We have a component for bicycle safety that we offer, where we have a contractor come in and do a bike rodeo, and we also have an education component for bike safety. And part of that is that we distribute bicycle helmets, safety helmets to the community. Last year we had 200 and we sold out very quickly. They're very popular. Over the last 4 years we've done over 1,000 helmets. We're seeking 300 helmets this year in hopes that we can satisfy demand. Town charter and state law requires that this body approve such a gift. So that's the, I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any. Yes.
Where are you going to distribute the helmets this year?
It's going to be at the Touch a Truck event, which will be held June 3rd.
At the what?
Touch a Truck.
Oh, yes. June 3rd?
June 3rd.
Now, if people can't make it there,
Well,
are they going to be out of luck?
typically the demand is so high that we run out of the helmets on that
Right.
day. We do have experience where during the pandemic, we weren't able to hold the event, so
Right.
we actually had the stock of helmets, and we, through social media distribution, we had people come to the station and pick them up.
Great. Thank you. Good job.
So there is an alternative if there are some left over.
Good.
Doubtful, though.
Good job, Chief.
Any other questions or comments for the chief? All right. Someone read the motion.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, I'll move to adopt resolution number 2023-015 to apply for and accept a gift from the Injury Prevention Center at Children's Hospital at Dartmouth-Hitchcock. Excuse me. Whereas RSA 31:95-E authorizes the town council to accept gifts other than money to be used for any public purpose, and whereas the Injury Prevention Center at the Children's Hospital at Dartmouth-Hitchcock, CHAD, has announced the 2023 Safe and Active Community Grant Program, and whereas the police department has partnered with CHAD to distribute bicycle helmets to community members as part of the department's BMX Trick Bicycle Show, and whereas the department has distributed a total of 1,000 helmets over the past 4 years, now therefore be it resolved in council that the town administrator is hereby authorized to apply for and accept a gift of personal property at a value of less than $5,000 from CHAD to promote bicycle safety. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage.
Second.
All right, motion made by Council Weatherby, second by Councilor Spencer. Any discussion? All right, on the motion, Councilor Cherichello.
Yes.
Councilor Spencer?
Yes.
Councilor Katsoukaris?
Yes.
Councilor Flood?
Yes.
Councilor Weatherby?
Yes.
Councilor Foote?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. That motion passes 7-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chief.
And on behalf of the police department and its members, thank you to Councilor Borden and Councilor Weatherby for your service.
Please give them all my best. They've always made me feel extremely welcome whenever I visited, so thank you.
Will do. Thank you.
We have agenda item 23-24, resolution number 2023-016, to readopt the property tax credit provided to veterans. Presenting will be our town administrator, Dave Karen.
Thank you. The town of Derry has been providing a property tax credit to our veterans since at least the 1970s. The statute started at $50 per veteran if you serve within a specific time period. And in Derry, through a series of actions by the town council, that credit is now $500. There was a change in the state law at the last session. The Department of Revenue Administration has advised that the council, we're lucky we do it quickly here, other communities, it's town meetings, they have to readopt the credit to preserve the $500 level, or else it's all going to default back to $50 per veteran. So we are recommending that the council adopt this resolution to reestablish it, so the credit will be at a minimum of $500 for the current fiscal year.
Just a question, is that like a new annual adoption process, Dave?
No, they just changed the rule. Candidly, the assessor and I don't agree with DRA's interpretation, but instead of getting into debate whether we have to do it or not, it's a lot easier just to do it once, and unless they change the law again, it should be okay moving forward.
Okay, and the council, because of our form of government, is still, we can still raise that at any point that we decide, right?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other questions on the motion?
Mr. Chair, I'll move to adopt resolution number 2023-016 to readopt the property tax credit provided to veterans. Whereas Section 5.1 of the town charter designates the town council as the governing and legislative body of the town, and whereas RSA 72:27-A empowers the town council to determine if a credit will be applied against property taxes of veterans eligible under RSA 72:28-A, and whereas the town, by action of the town council, has adopted the provisions of RSA 72:28-2, providing an optional veterans tax credit, the amount of which is currently $500, against the tax on residential property of eligible veterans who are residents of Derry or their eligible surviving spouses. And whereas the state legislature enacted revisions to the state statute which requires the council readopt the optional veterans tax credit or have the credit default to $50, and whereas the council deems it worthwhile and beneficial as a demonstration of support and gratitude to said veterans for their service to the United States of America and the state of New Hampshire, now therefore be it resolved in council that the amount of the veterans property tax credit is hereby readopted to $500 per eligible veteran. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage.
Second.
All right, we have a motion made by Councilor Weatherby, seconded by Councilor Foote. Any discussion? On the motion, Councilor Cherichello.
Yes.
Councilor Spencer?
Yes.
Councilor Katsoukaris?
Yes.
Counselor Flood?
Yes.
Counselor Weatherby?
Yes.
Counselor Foote?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. That motion passes 7-0. Next up, agenda item 23-25, resolution 2023-017, to support the participation in the Thriving Communities Program. Presenting tonight is George Sioris.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
Good evening.
Are we on? Okay. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. Very quickly, I just wanted to go over this program. Dave Karen had asked us, or staff, to look into, Bev and I, to look into what's called the Thriving Communities Program. It's put on by the Federal Department of Transportation. It also has support of the National League of Cities, as well as the New Hampshire Municipal Association. And what it is, it's a program that would help communities look at transportation needs, and potentially, if we get selected, to provide technical assistance based on your goals as a council when the 4A project is completed. There's been discussion over the years that there would be an impact on the traffic patterns in town, and particularly in the Broadway, Downton area, and what that may happen. So we sent a letter of interest back in December. I checked with the feds this morning, and they have not made any selection. They said it'll probably be several weeks away. But if we get selected, they would provide a technical assistance to help staff. So this ties into your goals, and I think the resolution would be to support the participation in the U.S. DOT Thriving Communities Program, and we'd hope that you'd support it. If there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Comments, questions?
I just have a quick comment, I guess. Isn't Congressman Pappas on Department of Transportation Subcommittee, federal level?
Yeah.
George, can I have you go to the other mic? This mic is...
This sounds really low. Did you hear me? Because I
heard
myself
you.
here.
Yeah, we can hear you, but I don't think other people can.
Okay. I know I talk, but
Thanks.
So,
is that better?
Oh, yeah.
much
Okay.
better.
All right. It's low here, even on that side. So, all right. Thank you.
so my question again was Congressman Pappas is, I believe, on the Transportation Subcommittee at the federal level, correct? Does anyone know?
I can confirm that, I'm not sure.
Yeah, and then would it be beneficial for the 7 councilors to write a letter, or someone can draft up a letter in support of this, or is it probably too late?
Well, let me check with the congressman's staff tomorrow to see whether he's actively involved in this sort of effort, and if it is,
Okay.
we'll prepare a letter and let the council know when it's ready for signature.
Perfect. That's all.
All right. Let's read the motion, and then I'll give my spiel.
Mr. Chair, I will move to adopt resolution number 2023-017 to support participation in the U.S. Department of Transportation's Thriving Communities Program. Whereas Section 9.15 of the Town Charter authorizes the Town Council to apply for, accept, and expend funds received from state and federal governments, and whereas the Town Council goal for FY23 is to maximize opportunities with the Exit 4A project, including the potential to study and revise downtown traffic patterns, and whereas the United States Department of Transportation had developed the Thriving Communities Program to facilitate the planning and development of transportation and community revitalization activities in under-resourced communities, and whereas the Broadway corridor bisects 2 census districts, of which one has been designated as economically disadvantaged and eligible for funding and preferential federal tax treatment under this and other federal programs, and whereas the subject area is within the DerryCAM Corridor Tax Increment Financing District, and its development program encourages infrastructure improvements and activities to improve the quality of transportation. Now therefore be it resolved in council that the Town Council supports the application to the U.S. DOT Thriving Communities Program to study options to maximize economic opportunities through more efficient transportation routes through the downtown, and in preparation for the completion of the Exit 4A corridor. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilor Weatherby, second by Councilor Spencer. Any discussion? I'll just quickly say, for years, as you all know, at our goals session, I've always pitched the idea that I think there needs to be one way coming in and 2 one-ways, coming in on Broadway, and then 2 one-ways leaving. I've always felt like our downtown could expand, and I feel like there's great potential to be more of a sprawling walking downtown, and I'm thrilled that you guys have found money, so it won't raise taxes, to found money to study these traffic patterns to see if there's any validity to that. My hope is that there is, and that it can expand parking, it can better our traffic patterns and expand business opportunities, and really expand the downtown, so it's not just a one-lane stop and shop, but more of a sprawling downtown and a walkable downtown, because I think that would be a real asset to our community. So I hope we all support this federal money, and I hope the study proves worthwhile. On the motion, Councilor Cherichello?
Yes.
Councilor Spencer?
Yes.
Councilor Katsoukaris?
Yes.
Councilor Flood?
Yes.
Councilor Weatherby?
Yes.
Councilor Foote?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you very much. And also on a personal level, I want to thank Josh and Neil for your support over the years of the planning department. It's much appreciated. So thank you for helping and providing service to the community. So thanks.
Thank you for your leadership.
Thank you.
Next up, we have agenda item 2326, resolution 2023-019, to sunset the Cable Advisory Committee. Presenting will be Town Administrator Dave Karen.
Thank you. You may recall back in 2017, the Town Council had as one of its goals to review the operations of the cable division, look at expanding our offerings in areas of public educational and governmental programming, and look at other media as well. That resulted actually in the elevation of Owen as our director for that division, and Owen's been in constant contact with a number of our stakeholders to accomplish those goals. And at this point, we're on a new elevation and plateau of services. We think it's more beneficial for the community to have the staff to invest their time at the planning and implementation of media events and coverage. So we think it's more efficient that the council sunset the Cable Advisory Committee.
Great. Would someone like to read the motion?
Can I ask a question first?
Yeah, of course.
I just want to, just so I understand it, kind of one of the sentences in the report that you gave, was the intent that the advisory board was for the transition as you moved over, or was it not? Is this just, like, is this something that we plan to sunset all along, or is this not?
I don't think so. I think it was undefined at that point, and the committee has been not very active on a committee basis, but on a one-on-one stakeholder discussions with Owen. They've been effective that way. We don't see that changing with stakeholders. We just think that it'd be more efficient if we didn't have another committee overseeing a different department.
Okay. And the committee has, you said, is not really functioning as a committee anyway, right now it's more. Okay. Thank you. That was it.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's just a little bit of history on that. I actually voted against that in 2017. Councilor Morgan at the time wanted to reestablish that, but a little bit bittersweet, because that's really kind of where I started my political forum, was on the Cable Advisory Board. And at the time it worked, and we had a good group of it at the time. But over time it disbanded, and it kind of lost its useful life. But Councilor Morgan wanted to give it a shot, and I could tell that he probably didn't get a lot of people showing up for the committee, so it makes sense that it's not really needed.
Good. So that was my only concern, is we might not have Councilor Cherichello sitting here if we didn't have a Cable Advisory Committee all those years ago.
But you can't go back in time.
Oh.
Thanks a lot, Cable Advisory.
All right, Mr. Chair, I will move to adopt resolution number 2023-019 to sunset the Derry Cable Advisory Committee, whereas Section 5.1 of the Town Charter vests in the Town Council the powers of legislative and governing bodies, and whereas the Town Council adopted resolution number 2017-058, which established a Cable Advisory Committee, and whereas the committee was established to maintain stakeholder involvement through a transition period in the Cable Division, and whereas the Cable Division has completed numerous improvements to expand its capabilities and outreach and maintained stakeholder involvement throughout. And whereas it is a common goal of all stakeholders to bring efficiencies to local government, now therefore be it resolved in council that the town council hereby dissolves the Cable Advisory Committee and extends its appreciation to past and former town residents who have contributed to those efforts in Derry. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilor Weatherby, second by Councilor Foote. Any more discussion?
Just one quick comment, Mr. Chair. I just want to give kudos to, oh my God. Owen.
Oh, you had a senior moment too.
This is what happens when you get old. Yeah, you've just done a great job of really not, reducing the need for this committee, and you're still maintaining the service to the community, and you've actually obviously improved service over the years immensely. So kudos to you in that work.
Yep, absolutely. All right, on the motion, Councilor Chercello.
Yes.
Councilor Spencer.
Yes.
Councilor Katsoukaris.
Yes.
Councilor Flood.
Yes.
Councilor Weatherby.
Yes.
Councilor Foote.
Yes.
Chair votes yes. That motion passes 7-0. Thank you. Last item, 23-27, regarding Resolution 2023-020, to authorize a purchase and sales agreement on 6.5 Meadowbrook Lane. Presenting is our Town Administrator, Dave Karen.
Thank you. Again, you may recall back in 2021, the council approved Resolution 36 to allow us to sell 23 Adams Pond Road. Most of our water customers are serviced by what we call our core system. We receive our water from Manchester Waterworks. However, at certain times, the town has taken ownership of different community water systems which were serviced by individual wells. Over the years, those have been connected to the core system. So a couple of years ago, we had a couple of community systems which were incorporated into our core system, which resulted in some surplus land. The council gave us authority to sell 2 of those lots. We've sold 1. This one was on Adams Pond Road. It's set back from the road. We now have an access issue to it once it's no longer being used as a water asset. So there's a piece of land adjacent to it on 6.5 Meadowbrook. It's mostly wet, but it would provide some access to 23 Adams Pond Road, whereby we can sell that for as a building lot and allow the Water Division to recoup some funds from that property. During your consent agenda, you passed an item which would set up a public hearing process to actually purchase the lot. This resolution allows me to sign a purchase and sales agreement with the current owner. We've negotiated a purchase price of $20,000. Again, most of it is wet, but it would provide access and increase the marketability of the 23 Adams Pond Road property substantially. So I am seeking authorization under this resolution 2023-020 to sign a purchase and sale agreement, and then the council will go through its approval process, which, as you may recall from about a half hour ago, by law, there's 2 public hearings on March 21st, April 4th, and then the council would vote to proceed on April 11th. That's the process we need to follow per state statute.
All right, everyone understand? Any questions?
I'll let someone else take it. Might as well start gearing up for the next meeting, right?
I move that we adopt resolution number 2023-020 to authorize a purchase and sales agreement on 6.5 Meadowbrook Lane, whereas Section 5.1 of the Town Charter designates the Town Council as the governing and legislative body of the town, and as such, it is empowered to purchase real property for the benefit of the town and to appropriate funds for such purposes. And whereas the Town Council previously authorized the sale of 23 Adams Pond Road under Resolution 2021-036 as being surplus to the town's needs, and whereas in order to maximize the return to the town, there is a need to purchase 6.5 Meadowbrook Road, and whereas sufficient funds are available in the Water Division's FY23 budget to fund this purchase, now therefore be it resolved in council that the town administrator is hereby authorized to sign a purchase and sales agreement to acquire 9.5 acres at 6.5 Meadowbrook Road from Deborah Ruffner, including a deposit in the amount of $1,000, and take all necessary actions to complete the purchase. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its passage.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Councilor Spencer, seconded by Councilor Katsoukaris. Questions? Discussion? Councilor Chercello?
Yes.
Councilor Spencer?
Yes.
Councilor Katsoukaris?
Yes.
Councilor Flood?
Yes.
Councilor Weatherby?
Yes.
Councilor Foote?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. That motion passes 7-0. All right. It is that time for council comments or liaison reports. Councilor Spencer.
I just wanted to thank a few people. We had a successful rabies clinic despite a snowstorm happening around us on Saturday. We did it anyway, and we had a good turnout for it being 3 hours in the height of the storm. So I just wanted to first and foremost thank Tina, our town clerk. She would not have been a success without her. So thank you for everything you did. Also, Tina's family, all there and helping as they did last year. Our veterinarians, got Dr. Kim Trahan and Dr. Jason Labus, our amazing animal control officer, and we wouldn't have been able to be in the building without the DPW. So thank you to all the DPW workers that were both on site here, keeping things clear, and also throughout town, keeping the roads passable so people could get here. So we had a successful, I'm not going to speak numbers, but we doubled last year. We more than doubled last year, and that was in a snowstorm. So we're making forward progress. So
Good job. Good job.
Excellent work.
Yep.
Any other comments?
I have a comment, but I was going to wait until someone else want to talk first.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So real quick, as you recalled, many times I've talked about at the county level that we've done rental assistance. The state's program had run out in December. And I've had a lot of people reach out that weren't in Rockingham County, unfortunately, when the state ran out, which was unfortunate, but we couldn't help them. But Rockingham County we still have that money available for rental assistance. If people need that help, it's out there. It helps pay for the utilities, rent, actually even cable, internet. So currently, Derry has received 30 cents of every dollar. At a total of close to $2.7 million that the town of Derry, and Derry's the largest.
And what's the process if someone needs help?
Just go onto the Rockingham County, New Hampshire website. You could Google it and make sure you put New Hampshire because there's Rockingham, Virginia, and there's Rockingham, North Carolina. Mm-hmm. So if you go to Rockingham County, New Hampshire, you'll see rental assistance tab. It's as easy as that, applying online. What it does is you have an application there. The landlord will also have an application, and it pays the landlord directly. So in 3-month increments. So the only thing that we're also running against is you can only collect for 18 months, and it stops after that. So there are some people, because the programs have run for close to 2 years now, we are having people that have exhausted the benefits. But what that really sort of means to the towns that we service, it's not really welfare dollars that, typically when people are down and out and need help, they'll go to the town, they'll go and they'll affect the town's budget. This is basically, $2.7 million that doesn't affect the town's budget. It's dollars to help out. And more importantly, it was there for, COVID reasons. People were having a hard time. So I just wanted to share that because I think it's important that the county did a good job in applying for those, while the state actually ran out. We didn't. So, and we still have it available. But thank you.
Great. Dave.
Yeah, just some point of information on that is that I received the monthly summary from our CHS, our general assistance provider, and we've probably spent about $3,500 last month in local aid, but I've leveraged about $35,000 in rental assistance just last month for Derry residents.
Mm. Wow. Excellent.
Yep.
Very helpful. Thank you. Anybody else? Go.
Took 9 years, but you finally got us out of here before 8 o'clock.
Well, I still have a few things to say.
Okay, here we go.
No, I'll just say.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll just say this. I was away all weekend for a hockey tournament, so I was in a storm, obviously, but somewhere else in Andover, New Hampshire. So I missed the storm here, but when I came back on Sunday, the roads were perfect everywhere. So kudos to our Department of Public Works.
Did you see Clint on TV?
Yeah, no.
Channel 9?
What?
You were probably running in the storm. But no, thank you to everyone who made it beautiful on Sunday when I returned.
You weren't in that hippo suit, were you?
But all right, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's a wrap.